All right, let's get right into it. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to soar, pun intended, into the awe-inspiring life cycle of the bald eagle. We'll be unpacking the incredible traits, behaviors, and environmental factors that make this bird a true marvel of the natural world. If you've ever wanted a clear, structured look at exactly how this incredible creature goes from a fragile hatchling to an absolute master of the air, well, you're in the right place. Let's get started. So, what makes the bald eagle the undisputed ruler of the skies? It's a pretty bold claim, right? But honestly, if you've ever looked up and seen one of these magnificent birds just gliding effortlessly overhead, it almost looks like magic. But it's not magic, it's incredible biology. What exact biological tools and survival mechanisms equip it to completely dominate its environment? Today, we're going to break down the specific physical and behavioral adaptations that give this predator its crown. Now, to understand any apex predator, we first got to establish where they actually live. And for the bald eagle, their domain is breathtaking. We're talking jagged mountains, rushing rivers, and incredibly dense forests. It's essentially their kingdom. And they don't just casually pass through. The eagle uses every single level of this terrain. It rides the thermal currents of the mountains for flight, uses the rivers as its primary dining table, and treats the forests like a fortress. This whole varied habitat is absolutely essential to every stage of their life cycle.
Section 1. Early life in the nest. Building the foundation for flight.
You know, what's really wild here is the sheer scale we're talking about. Adult eagles construct shockingly massive nests. And they don't just build these anywhere. They balance them precariously on the absolute highest branches of the tallest trees in those dense forests we just mentioned. Why? Well, it all comes down to survival. By placing these giant architectural wonders way up high in the canopy, the parents keep their young completely safe from ground predators. It's literally a fortress in the sky. And inside those massive treetop fortresses, things get pretty intense. Raising the next generation is a ton of work. The parents dedicate themselves to a really rigorous routine, constantly guarding that high-altitude nest from any other aerial threats, caring for their highly vulnerable chicks, and constantly bringing in early nourishment. They're laying the groundwork, pouring absolutely all their energy into making sure these chicks grow robust enough to eventually step to the edge of that nest and take their very first flight. Moving on to Section 2, Tools of the Predator, Anatomy of an Apex Hunter. So as that chick matures into an adult, it develops a highly specialized anatomical toolkit designed for ultimate survival in the wild. It's a masterpiece of biological engineering, really. Just picture it. They're armed with an incredibly strong beak that's specifically designed for tearing. They develop specialized feathers that ensure smooth aerodynamic flight. And of course, those powerful, massive wings that let them soar silently and efficiently high above the earth. Every single physical trait is just fine-tuned for dominance. But hey, as impressive as the wings and the beak are, the eagle's absolute greatest asset, it's their vision. They possess this insane biological capability to focus sharply on small prey from vast aerial distances. Think of their eyes like built-in, high-powered telescopes. While they're soaring way up high above the mountains, this unbelievable visual acuity lets them pierce through the distance and spot a tiny fish swimming in a rushing river far, far below. It's essentially the ultimate targeting system. Section 3, Mastering the Hunt, the Dive and the Catch. Now let's look at this flawless display of precision, what we call the aerial strike. Imagine the sheer thrill and speed of this hunt. Step 1. The eagle uses that telescope-like vision, spotting a fish from great distances up in the sky. Step 2. It initiates a steep, rapid dive directly toward the river's surface, picking up incredible speed. And finally, Step 3. Just before hitting the water, it thrusts its legs forward and snatches a fish with razor-sharp talons. It is a perfectly choreographed, high-speed maneuver, just mind-blowing. And this incredible hunting technique isn't just for show, right? It's perfectly honed to support their specific nutritional needs. They maintain a specialized diet focused primarily on fish. Pulling fresh fish directly out of the water requires exactly that combination of aerodynamic flight, rapid diving speed, and sharp talons that we've just mapped out. The habitat, the anatomy, the diet, it is all perfectly interlocked. Which brings us to Section 4, Lifespan and Ecosystem Role. The eagle's legacy. I always love looking at a timeline because it really puts everything into perspective. Let's track the journey of the eagle. It starts with nesting, being born as a vulnerable chick up in that towering canopy nest. Then we move into growth, developing that heavy-duty toolkit of a strong beak, aerodynamic feathers, and powerful wings. Next comes adulthood, where they fully master those rapid dives and aerial strikes. And finally, it culminates in their legacy, thriving in the wild and actually helping to sustain the ecosystem around them. You can clearly see how an eagle's lifespan represents a continuous, successful cycle of survival and dominance. And let's zoom in on that final point regarding their legacy for a second. They play a genuinely vital role in balancing the natural ecosystem. Because they're such successful, top-tier hunters, their presence actually dictates the flow of the food chain beneath them. By hunting fish and interacting with their environment, they ensure that the natural habitats they rule over, those rivers, mountains, and forests, stay healthy, regulated, and perfectly balanced. So when we bring all these pieces together, it really sums things up beautifully. The bald eagle is a realistic marvel of nature, soaring high above mountains, rivers, and forests. From the safety of those massive nests built high up in the canopy, down to the astonishing precision of their rapid dives over rushing water, the life cycle of the bald eagle is basically a perfectly orchestrated nature documentary happening every single day, right above our heads. Which leaves us with one final, pretty vital question to ponder. We've seen how deeply interconnected this bird is with its environment. So if the bald eagle's life cycle dictates the balance of our rivers and forests, what happens to this entire ecosystem if their habitats disappear? If the towering trees are cut down and the rushing rivers are compromised, it's not just the eagle that loses its domain. The entire natural balance is threatened. Definitely something to think about the next time you look up and are lucky enough to see one soaring through the sky. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking questions, and I'll catch you on the next one.